Hi, I'm Jolie Braun. I'm the Curator of Modern Literature and Manuscripts at The Ohio State University's Rare Books and Manuscripts Library, which collects, preserves, and provides access to literary and historical materials from medieval manuscripts to contemporary novels and zines. Because the Ohio State English Department's book club selection for October is Toni Morrison's Song of Solomon, I wanted to share a bit about the first edition of this book, which we have in our holdings. Song of Solomon was published by Knopf in 1977. At the time, Toni Morrison was a senior editor at Random House. She had published 2 novels previously, but Song of Solomon was her breakout work, and it was a critical and commercial success. The novel was a Book of the Month Club selection, and the first by an African-American writer since Richard Wright's Native Son in 1940. It also won the National Book Critics Circle Award, received an American Academy and Institute of Arts and Letters Award, and became a bestseller in paperback. Several of the current editions of Toni Morrison's novels have a similar cover design, which means that you can easily identify them as books by Morrison, even from a distance. They look like they're part of a series or set. These covers, however, don't reveal anything specific about the stories they contain. The first edition of Song of Solomon, and its dust jacket in particular, not only tell us about the story, but captures a specific moment in Morrison's career, and therefore warrants a closer look. The design is by Knopf's art director, Artie Scudellari. He was responsible for many of Knopf's book covers, including Morrison's previous novel, Sula. He also was the art director on the 1974 The Black Book. The Black Book is an iconic scrapbook of African American history and life, of which Morrison was the uncredited compiler. So let's look at the front cover. Scudellari's design is minimal and striking. It primarily uses gold, red, and black, colors associated with Pan-Africanism. These colors, the title in all caps, and the alignment of the O's, all of these aspects work together to create a simple but powerful impact. Most significant, of course, are the wings on both of the S's, a reference to the African flying folktale and the theme of flight found throughout the novel. If we look inside, on the front flap we see a description of the novel, as well as the original price in 1977, $8.95, or about $40 in 2020. At the bottom, there's a note indicating that it's a Book of the Month Club selection. The back flap has a small photo of Morrison by Random House editor Martha Kaplan. The portrait appears candid and informal. If you look at editions of Morrison's novels after the success of Song of Solomon, you'll notice a shift in how she's portrayed. For example, the author photo on the first edition of Beloved takes up the entire back cover, an indication of her growing popularity and importance. Beneath the photo, there's an author bio. It's fairly brief, noting her birthplace, alma maters, current residence, and that she is the mother of 2 sons. I want to now turn to the back cover. It features several blurbs from Morrison's 2 previous novels, Sula and The Bluest Eye. Most are from newspaper and magazine reviews, such as the New York Times, Chicago Tribune, and Newsweek. If you scan through them, you'll notice some repetition in the phrases, beautifully wrought, beautifully written, so precise, precise language. These blurbs selected are fairly consistent in how they talk about Morrison's work and focus especially on the poetry of her writing. There's also a blurb from James Baldwin, a friend of and important literary influence on Morrison. His praise for Sula references sorrow songs, and in doing so, highlights the importance of Black history, folk culture, and oral tradition in Morrison's work. This copy of Song of Solomon is part of the Rare Books and Manuscripts Library's Charvat collection of American literature, named for book historian Dr. William Charvat, who was a professor of English at Ohio State. The collection is recognized for its extensive holdings of American literature published from the 18th century to the present, and is particularly strong for the period 1876 to 1925. Thank you for watching. To learn more about the Charvat collection, please visit the Rare Books and Manuscripts Library page on the Ohio State University Library's website.